Hey everyone, it's Max Calandrillo. Today I'm really excited. We have the Boxing Debate Grand Prix final debate beginning today. I am really looking forward to this one. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got our two finalists, we've got our judges, we've got everyone prepared for this, and I cannot wait. These guys have had a fun road to the top, both of them, and they'll be taking each other on the finals. But before I introduce them, I want to quickly introduce our three very credible judges. We're going to then introduce our contestants, and we're going to get it going. So before anything, let's begin. Adam's Boxing Show, your first time involved with these tournaments. You will be judging the same way you did the first two rounds. Briefly give us a little recap of yourself, how it's been on the tournament, and any plugs you want to shout out. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, yes, indeed, man. Adam's Boxing Show, man. Make sure y'all follow us on Twitter, man. Shout out to everybody on this panel, man. The contestants, judges, man. Shout out to my man, Max, man. I've been enjoying this, man. It's been fun, man.
Most definitely, bro. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for coming on. And we're really excited to hear what you have to think about this final debate. Now, we've got Ring IQ Boxing, also known as Saint, helping me out, being a judge once again. Tell us a little bit about yourself, my friend, your experience in the tournament. You competed in season 2, and just as well, some plugs you want to shout out.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, Max, for having me back on. Again, salute the panel, salute the judges, the contestants. I myself did compete in season 2. It was wonderful for myself to appear on a stage that you host, Max. Like I say again, you're a great host, and I finally appeared as a judge this past weekend of a great battle between a couple of the contestants, and now I'm back again, and I can't wait to hear these guys battle it out.
I can't wait as well. I really appreciate you being here and helping us out, and much respect to you as well. Thank you for the compliment. Billionaire Boxing TV. This guy's definitely not an amateur or rookie when it comes to these tournaments. I'll say that much. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience judging, and any plugs you want to give as well.
Listen, man, no 10-10 rounds today. I'm picking for show winners. If you want to win, you better bring it because there ain't no 10-10 rounds today. And that's all I got to say. This is BBTV. Let's get it.
Very humble as usual. Much respect. This is a guy who actually won season 2, the entire tournament. He didn't compete this time. Hopefully we'll see him back for season 4. We'll talk about it further down the line, but thank you so much for helping out. We really are excited to hear your intake as well. Now we're going to quickly introduce both of the contestants as well. We'll start off JJ Solomon from the Spitbucketpodcast. What a comeback season you've had, like Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, man. Coming back, building yourself up, and now you're in the finals. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your platform, and your experience competing, brother.
Is that an old man joke? You throwing shots at my age, dog? No, hey, listen, this is JJ with the Spitbucketpodcast. Second time competing. I've been a judge. First time competing, I got booted out by this guy, the great Billionaire Boxing. But I'm excited, man. Remy's a hell of an opponent. Cigar Talk, he represents a great platform. Much love to the judges. Much love to you, Max. And just a real quick plug on the Spitbucket. Obviously, boxing, fatherhood, marriage, mental health. We got Robert Garcia on the show Tuesday live. So give us a follow. I sure would appreciate it.
Most definitely. Cannot wait as well. Make sure to check out my good friend JJ's content. He does tremendous things right now. And from Cigar Talk, WSB Remy, a newcomer, making it to the finals in his first time competing, taking on the Spitbucket. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience competing, and your platforms as well, brother.
Yeah, bro. I'm really glad I'm in the finals. I ain't gonna lie. I thought joining in, I was gonna probably get mobbed the first or the second round. I was kind of hard pressed for time to study the first time. I'm just here to make sure we all have a fun time, make it entertaining, and just like keep building this platform you created, bro, because it's so dope. It's fun as hell, and it's like people in the know of the sport talking it, and we got some great judges. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Max. Let's have some fun today, fellas.
Much appreciated, brother. I really appreciate you coming on. We're glad to have you. You've done great so far, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Let me just throw in, Remy already started his mind games, texting me last night, talking about I haven't prepared and blah, 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 blah. I ain't falling for it, Remy. I'm ready.
Let's do it, man. I'm looking forward to a 5-round.
I took JJ at like 8. I waited till it was nighttime to text him.
Hell yeah.
That's how you do it. Nice way to spend the Saturday night is getting periodical text messages from Remy about not being ready while secretly being ready. You love to see it. You love to see it. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. Judges, I'm going to put you guys backstage. Get ready. This is going to be one you're going to have to really pay attention to. This is the finals for a reason. There were 8 contestants. There were only 2 remain, and each and every contestant is very dedicated to the sport. It takes a lot of ability in this game to make it to the finals, let alone win it. So be prepared. This is going to be a very tough one to score, and I can't wait. So I'm going to move you guys to backstage right now, and we are about to get it going.
Go.
All right, fellas, I can't wait for this. We're about to begin. We have our 5 topics. We have our 2 tiebreakers. I have them all over here. We're going to go in order from first topic to last. We have our 2 tiebreakers in case. And to be honest, I mentioned initially that JJ can start on each topic, but if you guys prefer, we can alternate on who starts for both. I think that would be better. Initially, I did that because I wasn't sure if Remy just wanted to argue those points, whether he agreed or disagreed with them. But now that I know Remy's stances and all of them, we'll have you guys going back to alternating. So the first topic, and we'll have Remy go first on this one. Did the 4-belt era make undisputed championships too difficult to achieve? Remy, we'll have you go first, uninterrupted. Try to go a minute, 2 minutes at most. Did the 4-belt era make undisputed championships too difficult to achieve? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I don't even gotta get super statistical. I don't gotta get super mathy. I could just go break down the eras and how much that undisputed champion held weight. And let's say pre-1990s, all up until the I would say 80s, late 1980s, the IBF wasn't necessarily, maybe the early 90s, the IBF wasn't necessarily considered a title you needed to have to be considered undisputed champion. It started with just 2 belts, mind you, 2 belts, the WBA and the WBC. So for years, all you needed was those 2 titles to be considered the undisputed champion of the world. Then you fast forward, the WBO gets legitimized, the IBF gets legitimized, and now we're in a space where it's less fighters becoming undisputed. The belts are almost like the Infinity Stones and fucking Thanos. You got to be Thanos to get them together. If you have the right backing, if you have the right situation and everything aligns like it did for Canelo Alvarez, you can have an undisputed run uninterrupted. But you have to be a fighter that presents that type of money that people actually are kind of forced to get in the ring with you because it's their biggest payday. And or you corner fighters like Devin Haney did and like Bud Crawford did. It's like you're the biggest fighter at the weight, you're all that's left, and it happens. Very seldom have we got situations like Errol Spence and Bud Crawford where they made sure the fight happened between the fighters. It's more so the promoter's fault, but still, it's a problem. So I would say it's a huge problem. And yeah, it's definitely been making it harder.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Much appreciated. Now we will have JJ Spitbucket. Did the 4-belt era make undisputed championships too difficult to achieve? Uninterrupted. Begin.
Word. All right, man. I say no, that the 4-belt era did not make the undisputed championship too difficult to achieve. And the numbers make it very clear. And before I go on, I'm going to say I took the women out of this. I'm making your argument a little bit better because I'm pulling the women out. Obviously, women have had a huge explosion in the last 5-10 years. So if we look at the 19 years before 2007, when the IBF finally recognized the WBO, 19 years before 07, boxing produced 12 undisputed championship reigns. Fighters like Holyfield, Lewis, we know the names, B-Hop, Roy Jones. If you look at the 19 years since 2007, in the modern 4-belt era, we've also seen 12 undisputed reigns. Bud Crawford, Usyk, again, y'all know the names, Canelo, Jamel. So despite the addition of a 4th belt, the number of undisputed championship reigns over the same time span is exactly the same. So that means the claim that the 4-belt era made undisputed too difficult, it doesn't hold up. And like you mentioned a few of these things. Let's be honest about what actually makes the undisputed difficult in boxing. It's not the belt itself. It's politics, promotional rivalries, network conflicts, mandatories, injuries, all that, bro. Those things have always made unification difficult, but the best fighters still find a way to do it. And that's exactly why the achievement matters. Rare doesn't mean broken. Rare means prestigious. Nobody says becoming a Hall of Famer is too difficult just because only the elites do it. Undisputed is the summit of boxing. I don't believe you lower Mount Everest just because the climb is difficult.
Much appreciated. Thank you so much for that as well. Now, back and forth conversation. We'll have Remy go first. Back and forth. Did the 4-belt era make undisputed championships too difficult to achieve? Go ahead.
Okay, so if what you're saying is true, JJ, then what do
Yeah.
you make of that time period, that about 10-year time period where no one really was doing it but Bud Crawford? We only had one guy do it in about, I want to say it was about an 8 to 10 year window between Bernard and or maybe about 6 or 7 to 10 year window between Bernard and Bud Crawford, right?
I mean,
Probably
yeah,
a
bro,
tad
but
more, right?
I did the whole span, dog. 19 years. It's the easiest way. Instead of breaking up little errors and little moments, at the end of the day, adding the fourth belt, which is what this topic is about. The fourth belt itself, the 19 years that we had it, bro, it's been the same since the 19 years prior to that. Now, I will say we've had less champions. I said championship reigns. So in our 19 years, the recent ones, we've had 9 of them. Several
I'm
of them
so
had
glad you said that.
multiple
I
reigns.
wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, so they've had multiple reigns while the previous 19 years had 11 champions, but still, we're not even talking about the women yet, bro. The women just blows the conversation out of the water because how many undisputed women have we had? Yeah,
Well, the women is a completely different
sure.
conversation in itself because they have less opponents and it's less for them to pick from, so it's easier for them to make those fights. It's less marquee names. It's the women who have titles, the women who have the cachet. They're gonna fight each other. They're more likely to fight each other because they're building each other up in that way, and they understand that. Most men have more options, and a lot of the guys are, like you said, the politics are what's getting in the way of the fights. But like you said, they're getting in the way of the fights, and that's the point of the question. Is it easier than it was then? No, it's not. Back
The
then,
numbers don't
even
show
though
that,
it was
bro. The
two belts,
numbers
it was
don't
three
show that.
belts, whatever, they
It's
had
happening just
reigns.
as
They actually
frequently.
had undisputed reigns because these guys weren't, they didn't have all these other belts and trinkets to go after. They had to fight each other. They had the WBC champion, WBO champion, WBA champion, etc. But these guys felt more of an onus to get in the ring with each other, even leading up to the 3 belt era. Now,
So
you
are
said
you
people
saying that
going to
undisputed should be easier, bro? Are you saying that we should make it like
No, it
that?
shouldn't be easier. No, it shouldn't be easier. But you shouldn't have fans get disinterested in fights, and fights get they get too old, and the guys move out each other's weight classes because of the politics of the belts. It's sticky, and it's like you said, it's not always the fighter's fault. It's not, but it's always a problem. So we get the undisputed fights here and there, but it's too much that has to align. It's too much red, yellow tape. It's too much. It's too much.
Hey, at the end of the day, Remy, I feel what you're saying, but if it happened 12 times in 19 years before '07 and it's happened 12 times since '07, I think that kills the idea that it's more difficult, dog. These fighters are you're making the greatness a little you're making it, you got to prove yourself more, but these fighters are up for the challenge. And again, the great ones are continuing to do it. Despite the challenge you're giving them, they're still getting it done. And the numbers are showing that, dog.
I disagree. I disagree. I think that a lot of us losing fandom in boxing. I think a lot of the situations in boxing that turn fans away and is the reason we aren't getting fights built up properly is because of things like that and the belt politics.
So you think it's the fourth belt itself that's making the problem? The fourth belt itself, are you saying
Well, I
that's what
think
making it more difficult?
it's the way they utilize the belts. It's the way they utilize the belts, and some of it is some argument I want to save for a later topic. So I'm gonna be able to build on that a little more. But it's politics, and the politics of the belts definitely has made getting undisputed more difficult. Saying this is the reason Bud Crawford had to wait 4 or 5 years to get a fight with Errol Spence. It's the reason, and again, all this stuff is variable, but it's a lot of nonsense, a lot of yellow tape, like
I
I
would
said.
argue
So
that
it leads to it being more difficult.
the fourth belt wasn't the reason Spence Crawford was delayed. I would argue that the fourth belt wasn't the reason it was delayed. If anything, the fourth belt is what made that fight happen.
Well, I think they made that fight happen. If
Yeah.
it was up to anybody else, it wouldn't have. And also, if it were to have went by the bylaws of the belts, it really probably shouldn't have happened, should it? Somebody maybe should have had the IBF belt in the first place before they got to fight, right?
The fourth belt still didn't make it more difficult, is what I'm saying. You throwing all this extra shit. The fourth belt didn't make it more difficult.
Well, if Bud didn't have the WBO belt, he wouldn't have got the title shot, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying. The fourth
All right,
belt is
all
what
right.
made that
So,
fight happen. Not made
all
it
right.
more
So
difficult.
what
That
did
fourth
Errol
belt made
Spence?
that
What did
happen.
Errol Spence have to do instead of fight Bud Crawford? He had to go clean up clean up his side of the street, right?
Yeah, that's what.
All right. So a bunch of extra shit where we know who the two best are, right?
The fourth belt is what
No,
made that fight happen, bro.
I'm saying
It didn't
everybody
make it
knew
too
Errol and Bud
difficult.
were the best,
What are
right?
we talking about? What are we talking about? Did the fourth belt make it too difficult? That's all
Yes,
we got to
they were.
focus on here.
Okay. Let's say this. Let's say this. If there were 2 belts to win or 3 belts to win, wouldn't we have got the fight sooner? Wouldn't Errol have avoided a crash?
Yeah, but
We're
then-
talking about 4 belts making. We're talking about belts making the fights. More meaning. I mean, getting them making them more difficult to have. That's what we're talking about. We're
The
talking about
highest
that,
achievement
and
in
we're using that as
boxing,
an
bro.
example. If it was 2 belts or 3 belts, would it not have happened quicker?
You're using one fight. I gave you 19 years of data,
but
bro.
you don't want to touch on that fight. Now you don't want to touch on that fight. You thought you had a point. You thought you had a point. Let's dig into that point you just made. You just said that it didn't matter. Yes, it did. He wanted to go belt collect instead of fighting the other guy who had the belt. That was considered the best.
Usyk. Let's talk about
If there were no other belts in the way, if there was none of that other nonsense in the way, if it was 2 sanctioning bodies, I mean, if it was 2 belts, if it was 2 belts or 3 belts, it'd be less yellow tape. Exactly what I'm saying.
Goes on, bro. The list goes on and on. You're just looking at Spence Crawford. The topic isn't Spence Crawford. The topic is
okay. Then why did what's going on? What? Okay. For example, we could use Usyk too. Then why does every time he reunify the belts, he have to fight someone else again to regain all these belts?
Bro, the question is it too difficult? Usyk got it done
yes,
twice.
It's difficult. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's difficult. And if not, then you don't get nonsense happening where fighters are on the side or different sides of the street hoarding belts. It's all types of nonsense. If it was less belts, it would be less of that nonsense. And
all right,
that's
the
a
judges
fact.
already sent me scorecards. The judges already sent me scorecards for round 1.
All right, like we always talking.
Sometimes when the judges know, I'll let you, and they already send it before while you guys are still talking. I'll cut you guys off in that way too.
That's
I have 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards. Saint, I need your scorecard as well, my friend. Much appreciated. Just give me 1 second. So just send me your scorecard, Saint, for who you gave it to. Thank you, brother. All right, round number 2. Let's begin. Great round, guys. Good back and forth. The topic is: are sanctioning bodies hurting the credibility of boxing titles? Uninterrupted Spitbucketpodcast. Are sanctioning bodies hurting the credibility of boxing titles? Go ahead.
All right, guys. Credibility in boxing titles isn't necessarily about the history of the belt. It's about the decisions that are being made. Championships are supposed to reward merit, not marketing. And when rules only apply to some fighters, they're not rules at all. Look, instead of debating like my stance and my opinions on this topic, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to ask my opponent and my judge and the judges a few yes or no questions just to think about the decisions that have been made by sanctioning bodies. All right. First question. Ryan Garcia tests positive for PEDs, serves a suspension, gets banned. Shortly right after that, placed right into another title opportunity against Barrios. Does giving a fighter coming off PED suspension an immediate title opportunity hurt the credibility of the title? I'll let y'all ponder that. Second question. Manny Pacquiao, all-time great, almost 50 years old and inactive, gets a title shot. Does giving a 50-year-old a title shot after inactivity hurt credibility? I'll let you guys answer that. Third question, Shakur Stevenson, stripped for not paying a sanctioning fee to the WBC when they weren't even involved. You're stripping one of the best fighters in the world for something that has nothing to do with performance. Does that hurt your credibility? Yes or no? Bud Crawford, we saw what happened, makes history against Canelo. The WBC strips him for politics. Does that improve credibility? No. Yes or no? IBF publicly said that Jai Opetaia, that fight was going to get sanctioned. Then they changed their mind. Now they're literally still reviewing their own decision. Does that flip-flopping hurt credibility? We're seeing Benavidez and Souto now getting threatened to get the sanctioning by the unification removed because the WBC wants to play. Does that help credibility or hurt? That's all I'm going to do. I think you guys have plenty to chew on there. And if one of those questions is yes, it hurts credibility, then this topic is super simple to decide, guys.
Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. Remy, uninterrupted. Are sanctioning bodies hurting the credibility of boxing titles? Go ahead.
Yeah, if you try to appease people in that way, or you try to key in on it in that way, then you ignore the rest of the broader picture of what everyone else has been doing to hurt the sport. And when it comes to the sanctioning bodies, they don't embody those belts, in my opinion. As a fan, as a pundit, I don't look at them as the ones who are or when I think about the belts, I think about Ali, I think about Floyd, I think about Manny, I think about JCC. I don't think about when Mauricio is holding up that T-shirt or that cap. I think about the fighters who actually won those belts. So I can delineate the difference between, Ryan Garcia getting a title shot and Manny Pacquiao getting a title shot at this age, etc., versus when Devin Haney holds the belt, when Shakur Stevenson holds the belt. And if you want to be quite honest, Shakur Stevenson, being the WBO sitting WBC champion at 135, moving up to fight for a title, you have to get special sanctioning from that sanctioning body that you're holding it. It's in the WBC rules. So to placate like he didn't know that he had to pay that money or he didn't have to get a special request to even fight Teofimo in the first place, that's pure bullshit, and that's him playing in y'all face and y'all falling for it. Second of all, when it goes to the Terrence Crawford topic, I love Terrence Crawford as a fighter, have nothing but respect for him, but all of that seems like a play from that side to continue to discredit the sanctioning bodies. Now, have they always been the best at making decisions? No, but some of these decisions are literally subsidizing the smaller fights we get. Some of these decisions, you got to put guys like Ryan Garcia in position because who's paying? Some people are paying their way. It's always been going on in boxing, so it's nothing new. So to blame it strictly on the sanctioning bodies is crazy. And even more so, there's people putting out hit pieces on these promoters, trying to fucking do what we just were talking about, putting the belts in politics' hands, and a lot of fights are going to get probably not get made. A lot of fighters' careers may get ruined. A lot of situations may not be what they should be. But Jail Pataya having that IBF belt is what gives him credibility right now. And when you tell the IBF, yes, we're fighting for a trinket title, the Zuffa belt is a participation trophy, and then you go on TV and say that it's a world title, they're fighting for the Zuffa world title as though, it's a real belt, then it might make the sanctioning bodies feel like they're getting played. And even more so, seeming like a concerted effort to discredit them rather than see the difference. Zuffa and all these other things, they're not going to add credibility to the sport. The belts are a part of the rich history of the sport. The green belt, these kids are growing up through the amateurs looking to get these belts. Now, is boxing a corrupt sport? Is it built on a corrupt foundation in general? That's another question to have. But, acting like there's anybody else playing ball better is crazy. So, no, they're not. When these fighters win these belts, it's important. Going forward, it'll be important unless it keeps getting dismantled and they keep putting out hit pieces and trying the best to discredit it as though it's not going on all throughout the sport.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Now back and forth conversation between the two. JJ, you go first if as much time necessary. Are sanctioning bodies hurting the credibility of boxing titles? Go ahead.
Yeah, man. So, no, I agree with you in a sense that there's other issues, but the question at hand right now is sanctioning bodies hurting the credibility of their own titles? And it's yes, bro. You even said it yourself. You said the sanctioning bodies don't embody their own belt. And that is a piss poor description. Sanctioning bodies are supposed to embody. We don't even recognize them anymore because of what? Their decisions. Look, the WBC makes exceptions all the time. We've seen it for Canelo. We've seen it for Charlo. Look, in today's climate, you have to be willing to make exceptions.
I mean, JJ, they're playing ball just like everyone else.
You said it yourself.
They're playing ball.
The Bud Crawford thing was obviously Bud initiated a lot of that shit. But
he didn't need them anymore. That's all it was. He didn't need them anymore, and that's why saying that they're hurting themselves isn't true because they're still gonna. They're a stalwart in the sport. It's like the principal. It's like the government. That's what they are. Now, do they need to be regulated better? Yes. They definitely need to be regulated better. They need to be more consistent about what they're doing. Now, hurting credibility, I don't know. I think everybody's credibility is pretty hurt in boxing, so I think it's not nothing to even argue as though it's not. Their own
decisions are hurting their own belt. You mean to tell me whoever we slap that green 135 belt on is the best 135 pounder in the world? No. That's what hurting your credibility. You mean to tell me whoever the IBF,
that's Shakur's fault.
Whoever the IBF slaps.
Fault. And then when you framed it how you framed it, you'd make people think that he was unaware and he was some victim in the situation when you frame it how you framed it. When you frame the situation with Bud, how you frame it. Like you went in there knowing that title was on the line. You knew what money that you had to pay prior. You could have told them no. But so you wanted to drink it. You wanted to
him is hurting the WBC's credibility. Whoever they slap that belt on is not the best 135 in the world, bro.
Well, until Shakur goes back to 135, until Shakur goes back to 135, then I mean, what does that matter, bro? That's the pebble in the mountain of what we're discussing right now. What we're discussing right now
Credibility.
Yeah,
Is the
credibility.
sanctioning bodies hurting their own credibility?
Is
And the
there
answer yes, dog.
is there
I just gave
credibility?
you a long list of
Has
what
their
they've done.
credibility ever been good? Since Jose ran it, it never was good. The credibility was always in question.
Yeah,
The credibility was always in question. But what I do not like that is that the way you framed it would give it the impression that yeah, Shakur didn't know what was happening with the money. Yes, he did. He had to make a special request. They have rules in place. They have rules in place for a lot of this stuff. So when you try to frame those as those are your talking points, then we can backtrack and realize like some of the stuff that they do is actually helpful for the sport. And it's just like everything else in boxing. Money rules everything. And if the bottom line isn't, plus more money, then fuck it. That's with everything, with your managers, with your promoters, with everybody. Everybody is playing the game and got their hand in somebody's pocket.
You brought up Jose Sulaiman. I'll give you an example of when he hurt the credibility. He was the only sanctioning body that ranked Julio Cesar Chavez and threw him in there with Costa Zoo. Nobody else had Chavez ranked. Again, sanctioning bodies hurting their own credibility. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that other people aren't hurting credibility, but sanctioning bodies are watering down the credibility of their championships. No way you can.
I'm saying there was never any credibility to water down in the first place, and this is just this, like, this. Okay, my boxing bubble has been burst, and this is what I'm keying in on. I believe if you're looking at it from that mentality, then you have the whole landscape is is doing this. That's the whole landscape. It's the lay of the land.
Last points because the judges are.
I'll finish with this. Your argument would stand if the sanctioning bodies were the one organizations that weren't hurting credibility, but they also are, bro. They're hurting their own credibility, just like you said. Everybody is, but the question is, are sanctioning bodies hurting it? And the answer is clearly yes.
All right, thank you guys, much appreciated. Round 2 comes to a close. All 3 judges have sent me their scorecard. We will move on to round number 3. Great stuff once again. The topic is the undefeated record obsession harming boxing. So we'll have Remy go uninterrupted. Is the undefeated record obsession harming boxing? Go ahead, Remy. You're on mute.
No, it is not. The undefeated record obsession is made up by the sport of boxing itself. It's one of their biggest marketing tools. I think the obsession with Floyd Mayweather and the obsession with his persona is more so the problem than anything. And I think that era of fighters is kind of slowly but surely realizing that they're going to have to fight their way to those positions. Being undefeated in boxing is definitely a good marketing ploy, but for those in the know, taking a loss is all in context. It's all anecdotal. If you lose to a great fighter, you losing does not hold the same weight as you getting upset or beat by somebody, the apple cart getting upset per se. So no, and even more so, you got guys like Ryan Garcia who he lost in right back in the championship fight. Gary Antoine Russell lost right back in the championship fight. A lot of people aren't looking at it the same way they used to. People are wanting to get more fights. We're getting more fights, and people are getting more losses. So no, it's no problem at all. What about you, JJ? What say you?
Well, Remy, let me tell you what I think, dog. And you made some good points, dog. And you said it was made up by the fans, but it's still something we think about, right? So I say yes. The obsession with protecting the undefeated record is harming boxing, and it's not because being undefeated is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm saying too many careers today are built around protecting that zero. So that's what makes it bad. It's built around protecting the zero instead of proving greatness. Now, look, historically, you look at the fighters. We all know it. We know the 4 kings. They lost fights. They kept fighting each other. That's why they become legends. Today, to your point, Remy, the zero has become a business strategy, a marketing ploy. Obviously, let's take Tank Davis, for example. Huge star, dangerous fighter, has all the goods, but his career's largely avoided the kind of unification runs that define past errors. Look how long we took Spence Crawford to get made. Look how long it took Mayweather Pacquiao to get made. It took years, and by the time the fight happened, one fighter dominates, reinforcing the feeling that we've waited too long, protecting that damn record. Even the business models change. Even business models change around protecting records. When you look at the PBC, we often saw expensive-ass pay-per-views that were built around safe in-house fights instead of best matchups. Now, here's one point I want to make that a lot of us always talk about. When the real fighters don't risk that zero, something else fills the vacuum. And that's part of why influencer boxing, the Jake Paul shit, that's why companies like Zuffa are now entering boxing. Something has to fill that vacuum. So the problem isn't the undefeated records. Problems when protecting the zero becomes more important than proving who the best fighter is. A healthy sport builds greatness. It doesn't threaten it.
Yeah, so I
Hold
feel
up,
like
give me
if
one.
you're gonna bring that up, then you'd have to wait. Oh, you had something to say, Max?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I just want to like kind of stop the momentum so you guys can do the back and forth now. I was gonna say now
Oh yeah,
uninterrupted.
I was ready for the back and forth, bro.
Yeah, uninterrupted conversation, just so the judges are aware. It begins now. Remy, you go ahead.
Yeah, so I like that you brought up Floyd Mayweather in this situation. I think that's the problem. Win or loss, undefeated or not, 2 losses, 3 losses. The old lion needs to fight the young bull. That's the problem, and that is why we're not getting the stars, and that's why those guys are able to fill those vacuums, because these guys aren't fighting the younger guys as much. And with Floyd not doing that specifically, I brought up him because he was the guy to do that, to bring in a new star of this area. If Floyd would have fought a Errol Spence, if Floyd would have fought a Keith Thurman or something like that and lost, or even they gave him a tough fight, toughest fight of his career, got a knockdown on him, whatever the case may be, they go into this era that we know it as now as maybe the star that could give burn to a Devin Haney or a Shakur Stevenson or a Ryan Garcia, and then the torch gets passed in that way. I think that it's not necessarily the fixation on the undefeated record. I think the problem is that a lot of promoters are hoarding power. It's a lot of uncertainties, a lot of unknowns, and a lot of guys are they clutching their pearls, man. They trying to
What
see
do you
what's going
think?
to be the next move.
Why do you think Mayweather didn't have one of those fights? Be honest with yourself. Why do you think Mayweather didn't have one of those fights?
I think that they weren't necessarily in the place where they could give him a lot, and he felt like, okay, so Keith Thurman at the time, right?
Answer the Mayweather. Answer the Mayweather.
That's what I'm saying. That would have been the opponent. That would have been the opponent. Who was he realistically? Who was he realistically able to fight? Because that would be like you saying, yeah, Canelo should fight. Well, he would do it. Never mind. I can't bring up Canelo. Canelo would definitely fight somebody that's like.
Well, Canelo should be in this conversation anymore because
he's
not undefeated.
He's not in this conversation. No, I'm only saying that to build on to my point about the younger guys fighting the older guys. And I was saying, like, if he were in position to do something like that. So Floyd not fighting those guys didn't necessarily mean that. I think he did.
Oh, come on, man.
I think he did when he. Bro, it was an exhibition fight, his last fight. So it ain't like he was sitting around hoarding belts. It ain't like he was sitting around hoarding belts.
That wasn't an exhibition fight. That was a professional fight. That was an actual fight. That was his 50th win, bro.
Well, okay. Did Conor go on to keep fighting? Did Floyd go on to keep fighting? You're right. They did get that shit sanctioned. And he made it. He definitely took that fight as a kiss my ass to boxing. That's what I looked at it as. I looked at it as kiss my ass to boxing.
It was a kiss my ass to boxing because he set a precedence for all the younger generation that crippled the sport for 10 years.
I don't think so. I don't think
that era, dog. We're just getting out of that era.
I don't think it crippled the sport for 10 years. Why? Because if these guys wanted to make anything happen they want to now, he put it on a broader scale, actually. Like, so when they get into the fucking the tail end of their careers, they have the ability to go make money fighting a fucking MMA fighter. That's all he did. Floyd fought champions when he was in his 20s. Floyd fought his way to number 1 pound for pound. So to say that is like saying, like, oh yeah, Floyd was like some guy moving around, making sure he went through that already. So by the time he fought McGregor
in the second half of his career, nobody's arguing the pretty boy Mayweather.
Exactly. So when you try to make it like the McGregor move, it's just he never fought after that.
McGregor
he
move,
never fought
the Alberto move, the Robert Guerrero move, those moves, all of those moves, bro, that didn't make.
They were sitting champs, and he was damn near 40. What was Robert Guerrero? Was Robert Guerrero not coming off a big win?
So why was that blueprint passed on to Tank Davis? It was
Tank Davis' decisions for himself are his decisions for himself, man. Like, and let's be honest with you, Floyd didn't do that. So how was it passed on? Floyd fought way better competition than him.
I'm not saying
what Tank's legacies become is not Floyd's doing. He's not with Floyd anymore. He left Floyd because what Floyd wanted him.
He left boxing. He left boxing altogether, bro. He didn't just leave Floyd. Floyd was a reason.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I can't put that on Floyd. I can't put that on Floyd. What he became devolved way from what Floyd had going on. But like, look, to stay on track. Floyd Mayweather didn't even have an opponent at that very time where it wasn't an extreme disadvantage to him. Let's be honest. He was going to either be pulling somebody up way too much up, which I understand. That's king of the hill shit. It's not him looking at them as complete threats. It's him understanding that, they're good. That's a great fight for me, maybe, but they're not bringing anything to the table. I'm bringing everything to the table. I don't think it was him trying to duck any of those guys. And if he comes back, like they're saying he's going to come back, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to fight a real professional fight, putting his record at risk again. And Manny's been more active than him.
Now he needs to, because it's that marketing ploy, and that record is going to be what pays the bills. He's
exactly, and that's the fans, not the fighters.
Now,
that's the fans, not the fighters. You got fighters like the young guys, 135, 147. They mixing it up. They getting the shit done. They're changing it. They're changing.
As a result,
as Shakur fight T.O. T.O. didn't have to fight Shakur, right? He had lost already, but point is they both had a lot on the line. Shakur put his undefeated record on the line, and prior to this fight, no one said, "Oh yeah, it's going to be an easy walk in the park for Shakur." He was a betting favorite, but everyone wanted to, be the contrarian. So let's stand on those opinions of the masses. Most people said it was a 50-50 fight. They gave Teofimo a chance in that fight. But point being is the undefeated record. That's not that now. It's mythos. 2015 to maybe 2020. That was like the era where that was happening. That small ass pocket. Now, no.
All right, so I'll just close with this. I'll close with this. We talk about the eyeball test all the time in boxing, and you just talked about the masses, the feelings and the opinions of the masses. I think if you were to pull back, bro, and just watch the landscape of boxing, you can't tell me that protecting the zero is not a problem in boxing using the eyeball test, dog. But I'll just close with that. I think I've made all the points.
Judges are setting scores for final points. So.
All right, I'm good.
All right, thank you guys, much appreciated. Saint, send me your score because I got the scores of Billions and Adams. Much appreciated, guys. We move on to round number 4, the championship rounds. We're gonna begin with the topic: should boxing have one universal governing body? So uninterrupted, JJ, should boxing have one universal governing body? Go ahead.
All right, cool, man. The idea of governing body sounds clean on paper, guys, but in reality, it creates something far worse, a monopoly. When one organization controls an entire sport, they control rankings, titles, matchmaking, ultimately the fighter pay. We already have a real-world example of that system in the UFC. People point to the UFC as proof that a centralized model works, but let's just zoom in a little bit. Despite dominating MMA Global, there were 0 MMA fighters on the Forbes highest paid list. Boxing had multiple fighters on it. We've seen Canelo, Tyson Fury, easily over $100 million a year. Why? Because boxing has competition. Promoters compete, networks compete, sanctioning bodies compete. That competition gives fighters leverage. Meanwhile, critics, including Ronda Rousey, we just saw it, have openly criticized the UFC system for limiting fighter power and pay. Here's the bigger picture. Boxing has existed for over a century through all types of media, radio, TV, pay-per-view, streaming, without one single governing body controlling it. And that's because, yes, boxing structure is messy, but it's resilient. If one organization runs the entire sport, one bad decision affects everybody. But when multiple entities exist, the sport continues to adapt. So the goal shouldn't be giving boxing one ruler, because boxing doesn't need a monopoly. It needs competition. The moment one organization controls the sport, fighters stop negotiating and fighters start obeying. And I do want to close with this, because this is a very respected opinion from a very huge boxing pundit. I want to quote him. Let's hear it. Hold up. Here we go.
I'll just say this. I think that people who think that one central authority is okay for anything are ripe to be slaves.
I knew he was going to. Oh, my God.
To have all that power, as Kanye said.
There we go. My good friend Remy literally said himself that we don't need monopolies.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I had a feeling that was going to happen.
I knew this. I swear to God, I was literally like, he's leading. He's walking me into this. What the fuck, bro?
I remember the last debate too.
It's a debate, my boy.
That was great. That was great, JJ.
Uninterrupted,
that was great.
Let's see what you got in the chamber.
Okay, so I'm going to dismantle my own argument right now. But I think I feel like Max didn't mean that. I took this question as a different way. When he said governing body, my mind went away from the promoters and the sanctioning bodies, and I was under the impression he was referring to someone that could regulate them. And if that's the case, then I would definitely think that was a great thing for boxing, because right now we have the Wild Wild West. And it's not to say that, again, you know, if one governing body has all that power, they won't be corrupted. But someone needs to slap these other guys on the wrist. Someone needs to regulate who comes in and out of boxing, how they come in and out of boxing. And I don't think that it should be anyone involved in the sport as far as promoting fighters, etc. And if they were regulating the sport in that way, then it would be a lot much better, if that's what you're referring to. Is that what you're referring to, Max? You didn't mean the promoters and like you didn't
One
mean
governing
anything
body. One
like
governing
UFC,
body.
right?
Well, one governing body. I mean, it's. I guess you can flip it how you want to flip it, but it really depends in which respect. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
because you
want.
said governing.
I don't want to
You,
interfere with the argument and either change or move it around.
no,
But
no, no.
Well, look,
I'm taking your words at
however
face
you would,
value. My
however
my
you would
argument is off your words at face value, and I believe that what you're saying is, well, no, what I'm saying is this. Fuck what you're saying. At this point, my point is this: we need governing in
let's
boxing more
talk
than
governing
anything.
bodies.
Boxing is in a terrible place right now. Like JJ said, someone needs to slap the sanctioning bodies on the wrist. Someone needs to slap the promoters on the wrist. And if anything is getting out of a sort that doesn't align with making the sport better, and if it's causing things things in the sport like the belts to lose credibility, and for others to come into the sport and shake things up even more, there should have been someone doing these things. And it's been a conversation in boxing for years. Who's regulating what? All these different state athletic commissions. It's a lot of, it's a lot of spread out stuff, and this is why a lot of this stuff goes under the radar. A lot of corruption, it gets over because of that. It's nobody slapping these guys on the wrist.
Well, we have the Ali Act that's supposed to theoretically enforce that, bro. And that's only for one portion of the world, obviously just in the United States. So again, the idea that one governing body, on top of everything, logistically, it's impossible. There's thousands of boxers in the world. So how are you going to tell me one government body, like where are you going to locate this thing? United States and the UK? So just logistically, even if we do what you thought the argument was, it logistically is a nightmare. Historically, we haven't needed it. We've seen the Ali Act, and we can kind of laugh at how that's been enforced. So I'm just trying to say we've gone through over a century of boxing not needed it. Yeah, it's a mess, but one governing body isn't necessarily the answer, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Well, maybe that one governing body will make sure there's consistent outcomes. That's like the main point. Everybody wants consistency. So how is trying to push for consistency or figure out a way to do that so complicated? Even more so, they can get all these tournaments together. They can get all this stuff get together globally. You got all this money involved. You mean to tell me that they can't put a think tank together how to come up with something conducive for everyone in the world of boxing? No, I don't believe that. Just like
yeah, you know what sounds great? World peace. And I wish racism wouldn't exist. And you're just talking pie in the sky, dog, but it's just not logistically something that can happen, man. And
if that's not the case, then how are they keeping track of anything? How is any record keeping going on? It's simple stuff. Like, what are we talking about? It's not pie in the sky. If everybody actually gives a fuck about, all these things that they complain about, you complaining about what the sanctioning body's doing to discredit themselves, then why don't you, come up with something better than, hey, you guys are wrong? We're like, come on now.
So is Zuffa the answer? Is Zuffa answer? They want to govern everything, and that's not the answer.
Fuck no, but that's what I'm saying. They shouldn't be involved in the promoter side of things because that's a conflict of interest. That's double dipping, brother. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a governing body, not a promoter, not a new arm of the sport, not a new promotional company. That's not what we're talking about. You got to look at the context. Your whole argument is built off basically saying, is Zuffa better or is Top Rank better or is PBC better? No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about governing, making sure things get governed.
Ali Act is there already. Has it impacted us? Has it been enforced?
It's most definitely impacted the fighters.
Has it been enforced like it should be enforced?
You tell me. You tell me.
I would say absolutely not. Again, it created a gigantic hole in our sport. Like it hasn't been enforced. So we do theoretically have a governing body. It's done nothing. Look at life before 2000 and life after 2000. The sport really didn't change with or without the Ali Act. Now, theoretically, it's great, but it's not being enforced. So one governing body is not going to do shit in boxing, is all I'm saying. But I think this topic started off as a train wreck, so I don't know how you feeling, Remy. I'm good to move on.
Yeah, I feel like that was like a pigeonhole a bit with the wording. So
It
I
wasn't
mean,
meant.
but other than that, though, it's not. I don't have a problem with the question at all. I feel like my argument was based on the right thing. So,
Yeah, and to give Remy some grace separately, because judges already sent me their scores. He's argued points he's disagreed with before already, so it's not a humongous thing. But
That is
anyhow,
true.
round number 5, final round. I just need Adam's score. Thank you very much. The final round that we have is Boxing losing its American fan base compared to past decades? So uninterrupted, Remy, you begin. Is Boxing losing its American fan base compared to past decades? Go ahead.
Sad to say, no, because they haven't been around for a while. You know, the stadium's been empty on the top row for a while now. Uh, I think if anything, we're regaining casuals because of the different exhibition events you have going on. I go to fights where I see. I tell people about fights. I'm going to fights. I'm speaking with people in the general public, and they know about Ryan Garcia. They know about Devin Haney. They know about Shakur Stevenson. So I believe that casuals are starting to get more information on fighters. I do think a lot of fighters are being smarter by putting themselves in position to be more visible, doing streams, different platforms, doing just having different avenues in general to get their face out there. I think the American public, it's more so a NFL, NBA thing. I think, we're just in different times. People are a little more civilized. So we aren't getting as many star American boxers as we used to. When the heavyweight division doesn't have American representation as well, then, it might get a little mixy. But given that we don't have a heavyweight boxer right now, I say American boxing is at a really a peak in comparison to past years, especially when guys like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence were at their peak. I feel like they've kind of took it a bit further. And the sitting champions now in America are all top fighters. We got Bam Rodriguez, we got Boots Ennis, we got Virgil. We got some really good fighters right now. And I think it's in a great spot.
Much appreciated. Thank you for that. Now, JJ, uninterrupted. Is Boxing losing its American fan base compared to past decades?
Yeah, man. I would say boxing is not dead in America, but it's no longer living in America's living room. When we were kids, Remy, fight nights were events. Someone's house had to fight. If you weren't hosting it, you knew where to go. And be honest, dog, how often do you and your boys get together for fight parties today? And it's just not happening like it used to. And the reason
we old as fuck.
The reason is simple math. The sport lost its biggest television homes, dog. HBO, we lost them. Showtime, Fox, NBC, ESPN. Everybody, we're losing our TV homes. When boxing was on HBO, Showtime, Fox, ESPN, millions of casual fans, to your point, stumbled into fights. Today's fights, most events live behind subscriptions and streaming apps. That doesn't grow a fan base, bro. To your point, boxing still has big nights and it still has big names. You mentioned they know Ryan Garcia. Look, I know a lot of baseball players. That doesn't relate to me watching it. And then this actually proves my point. It still has events. It just doesn't have the habits that boxing used to have. And then to your point, dude, historically, as the heavyweights go, the sport goes. We didn't have an American heavyweight for so long. Deontay Wilder brought back a little spark to the United States, but the momentum really didn't carry forward. So the question really isn't like, is boxing dead in America? Because it's not. But the question is, does it still live in a place where casuals can find it? And they can't. The answer is clearly no. Hell, we can barely find it. And we are all the way wrapped up in this sport.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Now back and forth conversation. Is boxing losing its American fan base compared to past decades? Remy, you begin.
I think it's very what decade you're talking about, because if you're talking about the 80s, absolutely. Like, yeah, like we had boxing was much more accessible to the average. It'd be on CBS. You get fucking fights with Ray Leonard and Aaron Pryor, Alexis Arguello. You could get that on free TV, bro. At one point. There was a point where you can get that on free TV. So I think it's unfair to even try to be using that era for what we're discussing.
Let's not do that. Let's not do the 90s. We can even do the 2000s, bro.
Yeah, I'll say the early. No, JJ not there either.
Oreo, Floyd Mayweather, Fernando Vargas, Felix Trinidad, Bernard Hopkins. Come on, bro.
Hold up, because look, we gonna just go to, because We about 6 years into the 2020, so we could just go 20. Look, let's go 2015 to now. Let's go 2015 now.
American fan
That's one
base.
decade, right?
American fan base. Go knock on both of your next door neighbors' doors and ask them anything about boxing, dog. We are losing the American fan base because there's nowhere to find it. If you can't put your shit on TV where kids can find it, they're not going to go looking up the zone. They don't even know how to pronounce the zone. That's all, bro. Like, there's no way mathematically American fan base can grow if the places to find it is going down.
Well,
Just
I think that's not that's different for us, JJ, because their generation. This is why I posed the argument I posed, because their generation is looking to go pay attention more of the streaming. It's too much entertainment out there in general, so everybody's viewership probably isn't what it is, except for specific events like, okay, the Super Bowl is going to have consistent viewership, etc. But the big fights are the big fights. So we got to have stars built up. We got to have the events built up properly. That's like, that's anecdotal. We have those matchups possible. That's why I think American boxing is really at a hotbed point, because whoever comes out when the smoke clears is going to be the new American superstar in boxing, and we have a few of them to choose from. So
we got people to choose from, and it's up to boxing right now to do the right thing, bro. And I don't think they're doing it. So to your point, yes, subscriptions is the way to go. Streaming platforms is the way to go.
They're growing up on this though. They're growing up on subscriptions.
Are we doing the rights? Is DAZN the subscription? Is that the platform? We're doing
it's looking like looking like DAZN's going to be the home of boxing, and for it's for a 16-year-old boxing hardcore right now. They're going to have to go through DAZN, and I think they know that.
How many American subscribers are on DAZN? It's pissed.
Then DAZN has the Misfits. They have the Misfits. They're they're in every avenue for the sport could possibly be in. They're putting on fight. We just seen Salt and Pepper and Trex from Naughty by Nature's daughter get fucking flatlined. Like, so I mean, you see that they're breaking barriers, and culturally they're like boxing is getting re-ingrained in pop culture when you got guys like rappers and singers and different athletes in becoming influencer boxers, bro. Boxing that's another thing to my argument. Boxing is every road is leading back to boxing. Every road.
That's not the heart of boxing, bro. Until the United States finds a heavyweight fighter that is consistent and goes and wins some straps, it's knocking people out, and until we have a platform that is easily accessible for casuals, the American fan base will continue to die out slowly, but surely, man. And that's my case and my argument.
Any final points? Or are you guys good for round 5?
Well, I'll say my final point is this is all it's all brewing up for American boxing to be back where it was kind of in the early 2010s.
You sound like Dana White, my boy. You sound like Dana.
Kind of in the 2010s. No. Dana is on absolute bullshit. Please.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Good shit, man.
Great debate, guys. Went very similar to how I expected it to. JJ pulling something out the chamber in round number 4. That caught me off guard. I've never seen that before.
No, that was cold, bro. That was cold. Like Remy, that was cold.
In the finals, dog, I wouldn't have done it, Remy. If
that was cold.
Please send me.
Because I was like, it took me like 3 seconds. I knew you were gonna do that, and I still didn't recognize my voice for a split second.
Yeah, I'm just calculating these scores. So give me.
Shit. Let's see how these judges do.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like JJ dropped me in that one round. So like, I
think I got a 10-8. We'll see, man.
Yeah, I think you got a 10-8, bro.
I'm gonna be honest. I felt bad, not because I remember, you like Max said, you do discuss points that you don't necessarily agree with, but I had to come out guns blazing, bro.
So thank you guys so much. I have the outcome.
Yeah, bro. I'm not crying over none of the topics. Like, bro, that's the point of the debate. Like, if I'm able to argue something that I don't agree with, that just means that argument is like that rock solid, even though I don't agree with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. What are the score totals? Billionaire Boxing TV scores about 49 to 45. Adam's Boxing Show scores about 49 to 47. And Saint scores about 48 to 47. For your winner by unanimous decision and the new World Debate Champion, JJ Solomon from the Spitbucketpodcast. Wow, what a debate. What an outcome.
Man. Appreciate you, judges. Appreciate
Thank you
you
so
very
much, man. That was amazing. Congratulations, bro. You're the new champ. And before anything, I want Remy to have the stage, say whatever he wants before anything, completely uninterrupted. Take as long as you need. Thank you so much, Remy, for everything, brother.
Yeah, I know JJ, bro. That's my boy, bro. Like, I know how JJ thinks, and I told him, I said, bro, I don't. And he thought I was trying to play chess. I was like, bro, I don't have enough time to prepare how I know you're gonna prepare. Because I knew JJ was gonna come to fuck me up today, bro. I knew it. Absolutely knew it. I absolutely knew it. And that's not to in any way take from what JJ did today. This was fucking great ass points, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I have never got beaten in a debate that bad in my life, and in anything, prepared or
It
not.
was competitive, though. I'll give it to you.
Uber prepared, extremely prepared or not. I don't know how. I don't know if this would have went any other way. You argued your point so great, bro. You already know you're a friend of mine. We've been cool for at least like 4 years now, bro. And you're one of my friends in the sport. So to lose to you, bro, it's an honor. I appreciate y'all, especially you, Billionaire, for being decisive, bro. Go ahead and like, you feel me? Like, I appreciate that. And I appreciate the judges in general, bro. This was very fun. I love the experience, and I'm definitely trying to come back and get my the rematch.
Most definitely, bro. We hope to see you in May, bro. That's the plan for the next one. You're definitely going to be, if you're down to be in that tournament as well, we'd love to have you back. It'd be tremendous.
Of course, bro.
Thank you, bro. So much, much appreciation. If you have any final messages, any final plugs you want to shout out before you go, and then we'll talk to you after.
Yeah, we got new episodes of Cigar Talk coming out every Thursday. We're doing lives. We're gonna have a lot more content coming out. I just appreciate if y'all tuning into that. Follow me at WSB Remy on all social medias, every single one, and follow the channel Cigar Talk, and follow all these brothers on these panels. There's some killers on here, some dogs, some of the people keeping the sport alive in media and otherwise. And then you of course you got Max the Phenom. Max was born to do this, you know. So him manning this ship is all too right. You know, and I appreciate you having me on, bro.
Means so much to me, and I know they all appreciate what you said, brother, and we can't wait to have you involved more in the future. And if you ever need anything from any of us, make sure to reach out. Thank you so much, brother.
Most definitely. Everybody reach out to me and send me y'all's information if y'all haven't. I got the Adams brothers and Billionaire. Of course, me and Ace go to fights together all the time. So definitely reach out to me, y'all.
Yes, sir. My guy.
Brother. Salute, man. Thank you.
Later.
Salute, champ.
All right, let's get the new WDC champion, Spitbucket, JJ Solomon. Man, being eliminated in the first round to winning the entire tournament. I love to see it. How are you feeling? The mic is yours. Say whatever you need to say, brother.
No, man, just nothing but thank yous, gratitude all around for the judges, Max obviously, and my opponent Remy. And last week, How Boxing or Blunts and Boxing, and then obviously Mr. Neutral. It's been a hell of a journey. It's been a lot of fun. I will say I did take the time to make sure I was prepared, man. When you're going up against killers like these, you gotta make sure you don't look foolish. So I was prepared to get my ass kicked, but I was prepared to bring my best. And with somebody like Remy, you have to. So just much appreciation, gratitude for the opportunity. And this was a blast, and I'm looking forward to doing it again in May. Hopefully we have a couple of champs in the tournament next time. So we'll see how it goes. But thanks a lot, man. And then also I meant to tell this to Remy, but I've talked to Adams Boxing about this, but I'm going to start doing a bunch of collabs, and I want each and every one of y'all, from Max to the judges, Ace, all of y'all to be on the show. So I'll be reaching out to you guys individually so we can do some collabs here in the coming weeks if y'all are up for it.
Most definitely. 100%.
And real quick, I just want to say one thing real quick, Max, man. You gave JJ 3 killers, man.
I know. I told him that many times, bro. That actually gave Remy a huge disadvantage because not to be disrespectful in any sense, but JJ had a split decision in a 5-round tiebreaker before taking he was prepared for anything. You know what I mean? And that you could see the seasoning was definitely in effect in those championship rounds because he won rounds 4 and 5 on every judge's scorecard, including one. But I want to let you know by the end of round 3, if it was a 3-rounder, this would have been a split decision draw. Wow. It would have been a split decision draw if it was a 3-round debate. If it was a 4-round debate, you would have won by a razor close MD, and by 5th round, you won by UD. So congratulations, brother. I cannot wait for May. I think it's going to be tremendous. And are there any final plugs you want to shout before you say goodbye?
Now, just follow the channel, man. I don't like begging for subscribers and all that, but I promise you ain't never gonna get no clickbait, no bias stuff. So just follow the channel, the Spitbucket Podcast, on all platforms, and just gonna continue to bring y'all my best work as best as I can. So I appreciate you guys.
Much appreciate. Anytime. You're always welcome, and we can't wait to see you soon. Thank you so much, brother. Adams,
Appreciate
you
it.
had it 49-47. You had it close, but you had it for JJ. Give us just a quick rundown of the debate you just watched.
Well, I gave Remy the first round. I think I gave JJ the second, and I did have a 10-10 in that third round. It was a little too tight for me. The fourth round and the fifth round, I gave it to JJ, though, man. He came with it, though, man. He closed out strong, man, because Remy's a pit bull, man. And, you know, JJ was up for the task, man.
Most definitely, man. Thank you so much for being involved in judging, and we'd love to have you judging. If you ever want to judge again, just make sure to let me know. I would love to have you again. You did a great job in every debate you scored. You had great scores. You were very accurate, and we really appreciate you.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Of course, brother. Most definitely. We have Saint. I want Billionaire to go last for a reason. We have Saint. I want to hear your score. You had it 48-47. You had it the closest. What did you think of this debate? What's your overall rundown?
Man, great debate. Great debate. Yeah, I had it closer than everyone else. That was kind of surprising to me. I felt like the key word in this whole thing is preparation, and JJ embodied that. Like you could just feel it through the whole debate. And you know, Remy pointed out to it. I want to say salute to Remy, man, because he mentioned he didn't prepare really well, but I had him close in the debate. And I would say rounds 4 and 5 is where JJ separated himself. And then when he played the audio, you know, that was just like a rope hanger, you know. But yeah, great debate. Amazing. Two guys, well worthy. And salute to JJ, well earned. And man, I definitely want to see who's going to be a part of May's debate. I'm interested. And thank you again, Max, for having me on.
Most definitely, man. We really appreciate having you involved. You really saved the day in these next 2 rounds. Before anything, can you just give everyone some plugs and some things you may be interested in telling us about, brother?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely. I've been dropping the ball on saying with the projects I've been working on, kind of keeping it in wraps and letting the product speak for itself. But I'll drop the link here. We had this Ring IQ fantasy boxing that we're working on, powered by real stats that the fighters get. So you draft fighters. I'll let the product speak for itself. Won't say too much, and I'll drop the link here. If you guys are interested, just check it out. Thank you.
Much appreciated. Thank you for doing big things and helping out. And honestly, if you want to compete in May, as you mentioned, you're definitely eligible. I reached out to you for this one. So that means I definitely want to see you back in May, because I know that you have a lot to offer in these tournaments, brother. Thank you, man. Have a good one, and we'll talk soon. Billions, the man himself, season 2 champ, never lost his belt officially in the ring. What'd you think of that debate? And just give us an overall rundown. Talk to us, brother. What'd you think of that debate? And just give us an overall rundown. Talk to us, brother.
So, of course, we have an audio issue. So I'm listening on YouTube. I just caught up. All right. So, JJ, I don't know what you were smoking before this debate, but I need some of that before the next one, bro. From the first round to the last, your initial arguments were fresh. I'm talking about you had your stats together. You were confident. Your confidence in this one was made over the roof. Boy, that 4th round, I almost died, boy. Like, when you pulled out that audio, I was like, damn, like I couldn't believe it. Like I text Max, I couldn't believe it. Like 10-8 automatically. That is like, man, bro, JJ, I'm super proud of you, bro. You know, Remy tough, but I ain't never seen him get isolated like that, man. Like, if preparation was the difference, boy, you should have came prepared. I wouldn't have took this fight, man. That was good. That was good, JJ. And woo! I can't wait till May. I hope you come back, because I'm ready.
Oh no, I hope
Max for you, bro.
Max better put us on opposite end.
Boxing.
You will be on opposite ends.
I want you. I'm ready. Let's go.
Y'all know it does, man. Like I'm not a very confrontational person, you know, and I like respecting everybody's opinions. So like debates aren't necessarily my thing, because everybody's got good points, you know, and I don't like being too hard. But today I was like, I'm taking the gloves off. We going swinging. I got to win these damn close rounds. So much appreciated, man.
Of course, guys. I'm really excited for May. I think obviously you guys will be on opposite ends. The way I'm going to do it, there'll be 2 aspects where JJ will be above Billions and one that Billions will be above. JJ will have the title, the WDC, and JJ I will have, interestingly enough, as the 1 seed because he has the title. However, Billions will stay pound for pound number 1. So we got an interesting way of doing it. I have a pound for pound list. Billions will stay number 1 on the list, but JJ will be the 1 seed for next tournament because he is the current title holder. I can't wait to see who competes. I think this debate's going to be considerably better than even the first 3 tournaments we've done. I think the next tournament, because of all the lore that's being built up, season 4 is going to be tremendous, and I cannot wait. You guys know when you watch TV, season 4 for some reason is always one of the best seasons of every show you watch. I think it's going to be another case of that for this. So I can't wait. Thank you both so much for everything. I'm going to reach out to you guys privately, and let's get this going in May. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one, man.
Have a good one, boys.